Hey, I'm Andrew.
Hi, I'm Matt, Vintage Longines on Instagram.
And in this video, we are going to reveal to Matt the new Legend Diver, and I'm going to get a rating out of 10, Matt. You ready for that?
100%, let's do it.
Let's go. If you have even a passing interest in Longines, you are going to know that there is an account you must follow. Tell me about Vintage Longines. When did you start it? And how the hell did you get so many amazing images?
So I guess I started maybe 12 or 13 years ago. And I fell in love with Longines mainly because of their archive, the amazing history they have, and the ability to tell you, the customer, about your watch and the history of that watch. And to me, that is something that not many brands can do. Yeah. And it's really it's key. It really hooked me and made me think wow, I can collect all of these watches, know they're original, know they're correct, and just no other brand does that.
That's security. I did a video where I went to the manufacturer of Longines and I tried to look up my mother's watch because technically this is possible. And it was actually written by hand in the archive, amazing stuff. And that is the heart of what makes Longines, to me, the thinking collector's brand. I often get asked, Andrew, you've been to all the manufacturers, which is the best tourism experience? The Longines Museum in Saint-Imier. It is just so rich and so dense. It's a whole day. It's a treasure trove. And one of the big sections in that museum is Longines' contribution to dive watches. And when you talk about the big dive watches from the 1950s, no archivist, no horological fan would exclude this watch from that five, the Longines Legend Diver.
For sure.
You haven't seen what's under there?
No, I haven't.
But I asked Matt, if we're going to meet today, wear a Legend Diver so that we can compare the new Legend Diver 1959 to what you bring in. So this is, what year is this from?
1960.
1 year after the release.
Yeah.
God, it's in good nick. Tell me about, how did you acquire this watch? Look at this watch.
So the purchase story is actually one of my favorite stories from buying a watch. It was at an auction house in London and it was withdrawn. And so I emailed and said, why have you withdrawn it? What's wrong with it? He said, we can't be sure it's genuine. So I said, well, we can. We have the Longines archive. We have, I'll buy it. I know it's for sure it's genuine. And they said, we don't want to be involved in the sale, but you can contact the owner directly. He's happy for you to contact him. So I emailed him. I went to his house on Prince Consort Avenue. Yeah. And stunning house, really nice gentleman, invited me in.
Not your average counterfeiter, but
no, absolutely not. And he said, okay, Matt, take the watch. I want you to be happy. Don't pay me. Yep. And then whenever you're ready, send me the money. Yep. And as soon as I got home, I sent him the money. I was very happy straight away.
So what gave you that security?
I mean, I've looked at a lot of these watches over the years.
And I don't imagine there's a thriving market for fakes.
I mean,
this watch is unbelievable condition. Because this is really interesting because you don't know what's under there. You probably read, I think you would have read the press release or you would have read the materials saying what's on it. But it's almost like they had this as a reference.
Well, I mean, the 7042, which is this reference, was the first Legend Diver that Longines made.
Now, let's compare, shall we?
Yes.
Okay, do the honors, sir. Right. Straight away.
Wow.
So this is a 42 millimeter Legend Diver, which is the same dimensions as this.
Same case.
So this really does give us a chance to go apples to apples. Do you want to talk us through it as you see it? What are we seeing here?
So I love the patina, or the effective patina.
The photina, yes.
I think it's like we said earlier, it's a polarizing thing within the watch industry.
Let me ask you while you're watching, where do you stand on photina? Because I think when it's done right, even sometimes when it's over-egged, there are lots of watches that really color the hands in a certain way to get that warmth of age. And I think it can work really well. But it can be done. It's certainly some people just prefer to keep it crisp. This is the 39 millimeter Legend Diver that was released in green recently, and it is just crisp white. But here we've got that real beige almost.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think the beauty of it is if you love it, great. Yeah. If you don't, there's something else. You know, I personally am a vintage watch collector. I'm a vintage watch fan. So for me, if I can have something that's new, all of the qualities and benefits of a new watch, but looks like a vintage watch, I'm not really losing out on anything.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think there's something about certain textural and tonal additions to watches, like our dial texture here. And if you're looking at these two side by side, we'll see how closely they've got this texture of the dial as well, because this is a grained dial. This is like a really finely grained dial, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, all of these divers tend to age differently. I think it's because of the seal. So you have no real external parts. You have no external bezel. The bezel is internal. Some of them go really tropical, really brown. And then a lot of them have this grainy texture because it's radium in there as well, which would decay the lacquer on the dial naturally.
In my time in watches, there's been one brand that's just excelled at heritage reissues, whether it's the 1945, whether it's the military pieces that I've had and put on lots of different straps. There's always that concession to age in the way that the reissues are done. So we have both of those things. We have a grain dial, we have aged indices, which actually match up almost like Pantone perfect to yours. What else do you see that's different? I suppose there is a different tone to the numerals, like it's whiter and newer.
The printing for Longines automatic has a different tone.
But the logo hasn't been increased in size dramatically. Often that's a big tell.
For sure.
There's a lot of sensitivity to the way the dial and the internal rotating bezel have come together. Different bracelets. Now this is a new Milanese for this Legend Diver, and I had a Legend Diver on Milanese in 2014, and it had no micro adjust on the bracelet, which is a little bit painful because you don't get those half links. The links themselves are quite hard to remove.
And it's a nuisance to change. You can't change it on the go, whereas this is, I think in the Longines releases of the last couple of years, the micro adjust on the bracelet is something that has really made them much more wearable. And it's something that I wish vintage pieces had. I do have a 50s bracelet, the Nautilus bracelet, and that does have a micro adjust.
Is that right?
Yeah, from the 50s.
Ahead of its time. So this one's super easy to operate. It's really, you actually, instead of having to press it with a fingernail or even get into two pins, this is just a press down and it's super easy.
So easy.
Super slide. So you've got micro adjust in the bracelet. Another big change here is that this is a COSC certified or chronometer certified.
Yeah, I mean the movement in the original Legend Diver was a caliber 19 AS, and great movement, really pretty movement, in-house, pretty accurate, but nothing compared to what we have today.
Yeah,
these vintage watches are incredible, but you can't wear them every day, everywhere.
No,
and you know they're affected by magnetization, they're affected by weather, and so this really offers something that works for people if you love the vintage watches and you want something you can wear all the time.
Yeah. So I think, where does this land for the Legend Diver? We've had the Legend Diver meeting modern trends with all of the colorways and all of the strap variations, all the color variations, and the size, the smaller size. I think this was definitely a concession to modern tastes. But here we have pretty much an unimpeachable reissue that, as you can see, side by side, is pitch perfect to where a watch would be had it actually have come from the 1950s.
A functional tool watch.
A functional tool watch. And also, like, yours is actually that old. Yours is from 1960. And, you know, this, instead of being a box fresh, new old stock, this is one that emulates what the watch would look like should it have come from that era. Look, there are certain specs that are so important, and there's one hiding in plain sight that is more important than diameter. That is lug to lug. You can have a 43, 44 diameter watch. If it doesn't have long lugs, or if it has sort of shorter shoulders, it can be super wearable despite that diameter. Sure. If you have a 36 millimeter watch, like some Calatravas are 36 millimeters, but have super long saber-tooth type lugs. They can wear really uncomfortably. So the lug measurement here has been reduced, and you can really see that on my 7-inch wrist, that is fitting very nicely indeed.
Bang on.
So would you have done anything different? Because this is pretty damn sensitive.
So I like I said a minute ago, I really think that these watches have a place for the collector that has the original, and for someone that maybe likes the original, but they're quite expensive and not wearable every day. I don't think I would change anything.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Well, from Vintage Longines, I mean, this is no joke. This isn't a paid ambassador. This isn't a sponsorship spot. This is just a super passionate Longines collector who would, I'm sure, be finicky about details if they
yes,
weren't right.
yeah.
Because where there are concessions to the modern day, such as the shorter lug to lug, the micro adjust, the better movement, they don't actually compromise the aesthetic or the integrity.
There is no compromise.
What about this bracelet? How cool would this bracelet be, though? This is super jingly jangly. Yeah. This is almost not going to happen, is it?
Yeah, no. So I picked it up a few minutes ago and I was like, whoa, I forgot how light it is. Like it really.
It's actually quite nice though. Like this is really nicely.
It has like a silky run to the lens,
nicely articulated. Yeah, really nice.
The bracelet is more rare than the watch. You can't find these bracelets.
Is this an original bracelet for it?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So there's two different types of this bracelet. One has an all steel and one only has steel back.
Yeah.
And the all steel was made for the diver, so you could take it in water. Whereas the steel back only had cheaper alloy in the middle, and that was used on a bunch of different stuff in different sizes. Yeah. But so for the Legend Diver, 22mm lugs and all steel. So this bracelet is an original Legend Diver bracelet.
The last thing to talk about is actually the first thing you notice, which is this inner rotating bezel. Tell me about this innovation and why. What did Longines use this for? And because it really separated this from other watches from the era.
So it's actually a 1930s invention by Longines. It was used to help work out your position. It obviously got moved into a dive watch because you can't knock it so easily.
Yeah.
You just rotate with the crown. I mean, on the original, it's not screw down. On the new versions, it's a screw down crown. The 1958 Nautilus had a Bakelite external bezel. Always broke. You very rarely find an original one now. Yeah. And of course, it's you can just spin it.
You can spin it.
So then you lose your place.
I mean, in all of the movement of diving, the nightmare scenario is that you spin it and it gives you extra time that you don't have.
Yeah. Well, and these things were genuinely vital tools at that time. They weren't how we use them today.
Yeah, exactly.
They were real tools that you depended on for your life.
Yeah. Well, look, my love for Longines is known. I've been talking about and wearing this Avigation Big Eye since I started Time+Tide, so this is well and truly out there, but this is a part of Longines history that once again comes to the fore. The brand is everywhere. This is the thing you learn at the museum. Aviation, diving, dress watches, adventurers watches, of course, all of the...
Waterproofing, chronographs.
It goes everything. On and on. Timing, Olympics timing, it's had it all, it's done it all, but this really now centers in the most era-correct possible Legend Diver, 1959. Matt, you give it a good rating. I mean...
10 out of 10.
There you go, 10. Thank you so much, Matt.
My pleasure, absolute pleasure.
It's interesting to see the journey of the Legend Diver, the way that it's sort of weaving itself into the modern Longines story. What do you think? Have you ever worn a Legend Diver? Have you ever had one? I definitely had one in my early days. I loved, it was my first ever watch on a Milanese, so I know about this watch in my own personal watch story. Matt, I think we should do another video.
For sure.
Okay. So if you are watching this and you're discovering this watch for the first time right now, stay tuned because there is another video somewhere that will be Matt Hansen's 3-watch throwdown, vintage Longines, bringing 3 vintage Longines you need to know about. Let's do it.
Nice one.
Good to see you.
Cheers.